However, I haven't said it in video form yet. Fuck No Mercy on XP mod. I hate No Mercy on XP mod. Genuinely. Like, if I was going to do a tier list of all the vanilla maps in Left 4 Dead, now in fairness, this is a bit of a rough, like, off-the-cuff one, but this would probably be my ranking, okay? Now, in terms of XP mod specifically, this would be my ranking. Now, the reason why I want to make such a big deal about this is because, unfortunately, No Mercy is literally the single most commonly picked map on XP mod, and so I have to play it all the time, when literally any other map in the entire game would be so much better for me. Even ones I don't particularly like that much would at least be a little bit better than No Mercy. I would take Swamp Fever over this. So anyway, why is No Mercy so bad? Well, ultimately, obviously I have to, talk about it on a chapter-by-chapter basis, but to put it in short, the vast majority of No Mercy, you are mostly encouraged to rush and abandon all teamwork in XP mod. While I mentioned before that keeping a fast pace is important in XP mod and staying in one space is a death sentence, that doesn't mean teamwork is dead in XP mod. You still absolutely should stick together. You just have to figure out ways to stick together while keeping a good pace and not standing literally directly next to each other. You usually want to keep a couple steps distance from each other to be wary of things like spitters and boomers, but you still want to stay within each other's sight. In No Mercy though, no such luck. You see, No Mercy is a much more bearable map in vanilla Left 4 Dead because it's a very cramped map. In fact, I know that to a lot of people it's even their favourite map, which I can see why. I think that generally the more cramped and less open maps are more well designed in Left 4 Dead, since it allows for more spawns to be infected and more plays to be made. It's not necessarily like the more cramped the better it is. I think No Mercy goes a little bit too far in the cramped direction, where although it feels easy to spawn as infected, it feels like you don't have many directions to attack from a lot of the time. You just kind of pick one of 2 or 3 options. But that being said, I do think that No Mercy in vanilla Left 4 Dead is a decent map. But in XPM, it's unbearable. Because it's so ridiculously cramped, in all of these tiny little rooms, one spitter can take out the entire fucking team. One charger can trigger an earthquake which knocks them all to the ground, which can keep them in the spit so that they definitely burn in it. And one boomer could walk in and without using any bides, pretty realistically bile every single teammate relatively reliably. Point being, because this map is so cramped at so many spots, and I say this applies to chapter 1, 2, and 3, it causes it to be that teamwork almost doesn't matter anymore. The only time that teamwork isn't punished in No Mercy on XP mod is when all 4 players keep moving at an above average pace. Even if everyone on your team is moving, but someone's just moving a little bit slower, ditch them. They will kill your entire team. I suppose technically this won't be so much of a complaint from me if you're playing with regulars. If you have 4 people on both teams who are all experienced people who use XP mod regularly and know how the score works, then yeah, you could probably play relatively normally and enjoy yourself. But let's be real, there's always one bot, there's always one person who's never played the mod before who joins and unfortunately gets a bit confused by all the new stuff, and so they take us a little bit longer to get out the building and so they get caught. There's always one person who just is familiar with the mod but simply is bad and gets themselves killed. There's always one person who goes AFK. There's always one person who's a griefer. There's never a full team of everyone knows what they're doing and knows to keep moving. For that reason, do you want to know what I do every single time I have to go through No Mercy Chapter 1 again?
Repeat. Proceed to Mercy Hospital for evacuation.
We can take the subway tunnels to the hospital. There's a red line station not far from here.
Good thinking. Don't shoot that car! Grenade! Everyone in?
Yeah, so depending on which character you can pick, you can negate fall damage with some abilities, which allows you to just skip the entire building at the beginning and run for the safe room. This involves, of course, though, completely abandoning your team. And I really don't like to do this, but when I hate this map, I hate everything it stands for. It's worth so few points, and my team usually gets me killed on it every single time. It's really hard to not just think, fuck it. I want this over with as fast as possible. I'm running. Now, I recorded 23 pure minutes of pure no mercy rage. However, this was without the map in front of me. And while I think it was pretty thorough, it did skip a few details that I forgot about just because I wasn't literally playing through the map as I was saying it. So fuck it. I decided now I'm going to be here in the map doing it live off the top of my dome. So yeah. So I know that you can go two ways here, but typically, even though it's cool that you can go this way, this is not a good idea, since this is a pitch black room where usually, I mean, if I hadn't disabled the director, there would usually be a bunch of zombies in here that would surround you so you can't move, and zombies can easily spawn in here and come out and catch you. But yeah, so straight away this beginning is already horrible, because, okay, don't get me wrong. Wait, is this usually here? I'm pretty sure I've seen people get knocked out this window. I think that might be a campaign thing. By the way, I've seen people get knocked out this window before. It doesn't happen often, but when it happens, it's like, God fucking damn it, what a great way to start. As well as that, a lot of people don't know that when they come down here, especially if they're playing XP mod, this probably still applies to vanilla Left 4 Dead, but if they're playing XP mod, the first fucking thing they should do is jump up here, like this. Because the first thing a lot of infected are going to do is they're going to spawn right here as spitter the second you leave spawn, spit right here, and then this whole kitchen area is just going to be like burning, and there's a decent chance it'll even spill into here. And then because there's a bunch of zombies in here and people can't move easily, if they are on the floor here, there's a good chance, okay, there's a common there, there's a common there, there's a common there, they've got to shove them all away, and let me get out the spit. Okay, I got out. Instead of just being here. Now you might be saying, but you've already explained how you can circumvent this issue by standing here. But the thing is that not everyone knows this, especially because it's not so much a requirement in normal vanilla Left 4 Dead, and this is going to be a consistent theme. There's going to be a lot of ways that in No Mercy that you can get fucked in XP mod if you don't know how bad things are going to get in XP mod specifically. And while you could make an argument that's not necessarily a bad thing, because, oh, well, you know, that shows that you're rewarded for your game knowledge, it doesn't really feel very fun to play, especially because most of the time you play XP mod, you don't have a full party of people who are max level in the mod who know exactly what they want to do. Now, in fairness, max level in this mod does not take very long to reach. Literally, like, I don't know, 3 campaigns-ish, and then you're probably max level. But you still aren't probably going to have a full team on both teams of full level players. And if you just have one player who doesn't play XP mod, who doesn't know how it works, who isn't familiar what it's like, then they can honestly not even be a bad player, but fuck over your entire team just because they aren't aware of things like this. Another thing in XP mod is I've mentioned that there's a decent amount of abilities that can punish you for grouping up, which is not usually a thing that happens in Left 4 Dead 2. Still, sticking together is better than not sticking together in XP mod, and you should try to do it to some extent, but you're punished mostly for stacking 4 people on top of each other, like literally within breathing distance. One of the biggest ways that this happens is the Charger's Bind 2, Earthquake, which is honestly one of the most heavily used binds in the entire mod. This is simply where the Charger punches the ground after using his Bind 2, and it causes an earthquake. Anyone anywhere near him in a circle will get knocked off their feet, stunned for like 2 full seconds, and they'll have to do the get up animation. And it does a significant amount of damage to everyone who gets hit by it too. Not only is this good for chipping down survivors, especially because while down on the ground, the Charger can just start beating the shit out of down survivors, and then once they stand up, he can just take one wherever he wants with his charge. But worse than that is when it combos with other special infected. Like, for instance, oh, I'm going to walk in here. Okay, I'm fine. This is okay. Charger bursts out from behind that wall, because that wall is breakable if you weren't aware, and zombies can spawn behind it. Earthquakes me, I'm stuck here. The rest of my team came with me, so we're all stuck in this one area. Spitter spawns here, jumps out, spits. We're all on the floor, we're all in the spit. We have a minimum of like a second in it at the very least. And then after we stand up, we still have common zombies all around us because spitters spawn zombies when they spit in this mod. So it's extremely hard to get out the spit. The spit also gives us a virus which spreads from player to player if we touch each other, and we're all touching each other, so we all instantly get the virus. So that's more over time damage added on even once we've left the spit, which also prevents us from reviving and shakes our screen, which makes it harder to aim. And this is all before we even get this far, where at this this point, you might start having some people wanting to run back to the safe room to try and heal, and some people trying to run back out here to get away from this death trap. But if they run out here, oh, maybe there's a hunter here, grabbed, and where's the rest of your teammates? They're still fucking around in here trying to find the charger or the spitter or trying to go back for healing. Which, by the way, do not go back to the roof in XP mod, because you walk out here, a boomer spawns up there, jumps down, off the roof you go, dead instantly. Or a charger could charge you off with an well, not charge you off because of the walls, but they can get you off with an uppercut, since uppercuts launch you into the air and over the walls. Yeah, this beginning is already a death trap, and if anyone walks in here, just fucking abandon them. Unironically, they probably won't get out of there. Honestly, funnily enough, this, if anything, is one of the safer routes because you can jump on this spit, so spit doesn't get you. You mostly just get battled here, but at the very least, all the commons get funneled through the door. But of course, if you're standing in here, there's probably only room for a couple of you in here, and most people don't go in here. So yeah, genuinely, I think the best thing for you to do here when you come out of here is just walk out, jump up here, crouch here, deal with the commons, and then once everyone's ready, you just walk right through and run and in here. And if anyone gets grabbed, you wait until everyone who didn't get grabbed is in here, and then you peek your head out and try and fight them out. Because if you instantly all run over to them and all four of you in here, you've just got the same problem again, where, like, a spitter spawns here. They could even spawn a witch in this doorway, so you can't just run past it. Spawn spit over there, everyone's panicking, they set off the witch. It just gets worse and worse. This is just the beginning, by the way. Once you make it down here, you might notice the amount of narrow corridors that are fucking perfect for the charger, so if there's another charger, you might start walking over here, and he'll just poke his head out, boom, 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 whole team is now knocked onto the floor. He hasn't even used his Earthquake yet, which, by the way, you can use Earthquake while pinning someone as a charger, so you could not use Earthquake to start, wait for all 4 survivors to line themselves nicely in this corridor, charge them up here, have a spitter from up there get them while they're all stuck in this little square, and then the second they stand up, just Earthquake them and get them stunned in the spit for another 2 seconds, which is probably enough to down an entire team. I know I'm mostly talking about the spitter and the charger here, but they're the main ones that will punish people for being closer together, except the boomer. But the main thing the boomer does is obviously blind them and summon more zombies. But summoning more zombies is one of the only things that actually isn't so bad in this context, since they're all funneled through these doorways, although it does make things worse. So yeah, not to mention this whole time, you might be thinking, well, at least the smoker and the hunter aren't going to be too deadly. Well, fair enough, the smoker actually isn't too bad here, but this hunter is honestly kind of be underrated in this situation. While it's definitely the charger, spitter, and boomers are the MVPs on this map, the hunter has an ability to use his bind to inject someone with venom, either by pouncing on them, or he can just hit them normally, and it will inject them with a venom, which does damage over time, but not much. But more importantly, reduces them to a cripplingly low speed for a significant amount of time. If you've got a team in here, and you're scared of a charger spawning and charging and bowling everyone over and then having them all die in spit, then you obviously want to run here. What if all 4 of you start running, and then a hunter spawns behind, scratches the person at the back and runs away, and now the person at the back's limping out of here like this? Because this is about how slow you go with hunter venom, unironically. And I don't even believe adrenaline or other speed boosts in the game can change it. I think it's like a hard set speed that you cannot affect with other speed boost mechanics. So you're just stuck like that. So that gives the infected so much time to fuck you over while you're in these horrible situations. So yeah, genuinely, I think that every single infected on this map at the start is fucking deadly, except the smoker. And even the smoker will get better towards the end of the map. Obviously, this is the indoor section. The jockey, maybe not so much, but even then, the jockey can maybe grab someone at the back and pull them into a room, like a little side, maybe he pulls them into this little side cupboard or whatever. But yeah. Anyway, so this bit, honestly, is like one of the nicest bits of the map because it gets a little bit more open here, even though it's still pretty cramped. There are a lot of little doorways to spawn in, but in fairness, a lot of them you have to break through the doors as infected, so it gives survivors time to react. I don't know what it is, but for some reason, I swear there always seems to be a natural witch spawn here in XP mod. I don't know why, but it seems like there's almost always a witch. Not even like one spawned by a spitter, but just there's almost always a witch here. So not only do you have the one-way drop here, but on top of that, you have the one-way drop onto a witch. And the second you land here, spitter breaks down this door, spits here, and if there's any infected covering this doorway, like a charger or a boomer that you don't want to blow up, then you're stuck in that spit, unless you can run into one of these side rooms without getting caught by infected and defend yourself from there. But if you're running into one of these rooms, then you're not dying spawns ahead anymore, which gives them loads of time to start setting up over here. That is if this wall isn't broken down. If that wall's broken down, obviously you can just run through there. So yeah, and as you can imagine, like, the main problem here isn't that this is all impossible. The main problem is the way to deal with this is very arguable. And so, even with good players, you'll have so much disagreement. You'll have each other running in different directions, and you'll have to tell people, no, no, this way, no, stop, no! And literally, everyone will just start going the wrong direction. Everyone will split up, everyone's going to be blinded because they're going to be perma-biled the whole time, and remember, bile hides your hood in this mod as well. And so you finally get out of the building, but likely you probably ran out of the building without your teammates, so now you're going to have to sit out here for a bit, waiting for your teammates to show up. You better hope a smoker doesn't spawn up there, pull you way far ahead, and then start electrocuting you and hanging you from here. That would hopefully... that would probably kill you if your team aren't already out the building. That would probably be it already for you. Not to mention, it kind of goes without saying, but don't even bother checking these side rooms. This is a death sentence, don't even try it. So yeah, then of course you'll probably make it out here. And even though this is already a place where witches tend to naturally spawn, it's also very common for spitters to spawn witches somewhere around this area, just since it's a narrow alley, and at this point, since you're out of the building, and that's most of where the death traps on this map are, they're obviously now really going to try and, like, catch you out here. So once you get past this bit, things get easier for the survivors, a little bit at the very least. So yeah, they often put a witch here, because it's kind of unavoidable. And you might think that it's not that great a spot because you've got a nice long sight line, you know the witch is coming. But it does actually work a decent amount of the time, mostly just because by the time people get here, a lot of the time they are completely wounded, they're limping, they don't have the whole team there, and they're just in a state where, like, they'll get irritable. They'll either, like, want to make a run for it and just see if they can run past the witch without startling her, and then they'll startle her because maybe an infected drops down on top of her and scratches her to get it all, like, ready to pounce. Or maybe you try to shoot her from a distance and try and run away, but then you don't realize you're limping and it slows you down, and so you can't outrun the witch. If there's not an Ellis here who has the ability to insta-kill witches if they aren't set off, and he shoots them before they get set off, then it's really hard to deal with this witch. And if you do have an Ellis, there's a good chance they'll die before they get out of the building. Since Ellis is the glass cannon of the game, he has the lowest health, and all of his health is temporary, meaning that charge is practically hard counter Ellis, even though he is overall probably the most OP survivor in the mod. It's just that charges are really fucking good against him, and on this map specifically, since he doesn't have very many long sight lines to go down.
Just around the corner.
Thanks, Bill. That was very helpful. Since he doesn't have that many long sight lines to go down, yeah, it's a pain. No one ever goes inside this building, because there's no point, the ending's right there. No one ever goes around this side route. In fact, I never even knew, I don't think this door is openable, I just wanted to double check. I never even knew this side route existed until, well, I say about a year ago. Obviously, I've been playing this game for quite a while, so a year ago might sound like a long time, but you know. I only found out about this route recently, because even in vanilla Left 4 Dead, this is such a useless way to go, but yeah, you can go all the way around this way. I sometimes do this when I'm trying to be sneaky, when I'm trying to make a run for it, but then the infected lose track of me. They're obviously expecting me to go the main way, so sometimes I do go this way, but most of the time I ignore it.
There's the station.
And then, of course, there's the car alarm. So this area, while it is definitely the nicest area of the map, is stupid wide open. And that means that while the special infected, aside from the smoker, aren't going to be too deadly here, the common infected are, because you can be attacked from all directions, they're extremely annoying to hit, and because they're not funneled through a doorway, their movements aren't going to be predictable. So, yeah, this is going to get really, really annoying, and so you know there's going to be a smoker standing here, waiting for you to limp your way around that corner and grab a car alarm goes off. Now there's a horde on top of that. So, yeah, I think I've made my case pretty strongly. This first chapter already, it ain't it. I am not a fan of it, but it's not even the worst chapter in this campaign when it comes to XP mod. Now, I believe I already said this, but I just want to make it very clear while it's loading the next map. These criticisms do not necessarily apply to vanilla Left 4 Dead. While this isn't my favourite campaign in the vanilla Left 4 Dead, and far from it, I wouldn't call it a bad campaign. I think it's kind of meh. I think that the cramped spaces do make more sense in vanilla Left 4 Dead, and I'm not expecting this map to make sense in XPM since it's not made with XPM in mind. But, yeah, I'm just pointing out why I hate playing it. Anyway, so welcome to the second chapter. You know, I've had to think about this because I hate the third chapter a lot. But I think this is the worst chapter in the entirety of XP mod of any campaign. So, you might be thinking the reason for this might be just the cramped spaces again, but honestly the reason for this is this room right here, this starting room, this first room. And it's not even because of this one way, because remember, you can get back up across this one way if you're Rochelle or Coach in this mod. So, it's not exactly this that's the problem. What is the problem, it isn't even the ceiling spawn either. It's just the fact that this place that I'm standing in right here, despite the fact that you literally have to go this way because there's no other way you can go, this spot right here is probably the single most deadly spot in the entirety of this goddamn mod. Because there are common infected that are going to spawn all throughout the back of here. So you're going to be, and there's common infected here and in here, so you're being attacked from literally 360 degrees all sides. So straight away, the second you drop down here, you can't move. And there's basically nothing you can do about that, especially since a lot of the commons are behind you in here, so it's not like you can shoot them from up here before you can get there. So you drop down here, and already you can't move because you're surrounded on all sides by commons, which you have to deal with on all angles. And you also can't see very clearly back there. Now, remember how intense the blinding effects are in XPM? What if you get smoked back here, and pulled all the way back here, and the smoker makes you nearly invisible? And at the same time, a boomer rushes out of this crevice as your teammates come down to help you, and they get blinded, all of them. And they don't know which way the smoker pulled you. Yeah, what are the chances they're going to see the smoker all the way back here, who's already 90% invisible and hiding your glow, so they can't see you through walls, when they also have bile on their screen and their HUD is invisible? You can see how this is going to be a problem, especially when they're in a panic because they've got to move from here, because you know what happens if they stay here too long? Spitter spawns a witch at this staircase, jumps out, spits, gets everyone stuck here, spawns more zombies on top of them so it's even harder for them to move from the spot, everyone burns. And anyone who decides, okay, I broke free, I'm just going to run, runs right into the witch and dies. While everyone else is in the panic, doesn't even know that this person's down to a witch because they're still dealing with the smoker back there, or the jockey, or hunter, or whatever's got someone back there. Literally, what do you do in this section? And the answer to that, I think, is you don't do anything, you just run and hope. Just genuinely, unironically. I think that maybe you stay up there, deal with a few commons while you can, and then you just run right for it like this, and just hope they don't spawn a witch fast enough, and hope there isn't a charger waiting here to earthquake you, and then charge you down here all the way over here away from your team. Or maybe even if they get a good angle, they might even be able to get you all the way over here. So yeah. There is basically no counterplay in this section. There is nothing you can do to not get fucked, except just hope the special infected aren't smart enough to deal with you properly. I'm not gonna lie, okay, I heard this, but I thought this was a myth. I thought you actually couldn't do this in Vanilla Left 4 Dead. I thought you needed abilities. I thought that... I could have sworn it pushed me off of this rock in the past. Well, never mind. I know that's off topic, but I genuinely didn't know you could get back up there. Good to know. Well, anyway, as well as that, I think one strategy that is underrated, although admittedly definitely will not work in all cases, is I personally do like to do a kind of 50-50, where half the time I do just run straight for the staircase, but because I know that's predictable, every now and then I will run down here, and as quickly as I can, jump in here, and get out like this. And I won't make a run for it. At this point, I circle back round, clear out any special infected here who are waiting for someone to run that way, and try and keep these stay here to deal with special common infected from here and deny spawns from this direction. So, I mean, they can still spawn from here, so it's still not great, but it's something. It's better than them being able to put a witch right on the staircase. Yeah, you can see there really is no easy answer. Even what I said, while it can be an effective strategy, this strategy only works assuming no one spawns in this corridor. And in fairness, it is relatively rare for special infected to spawn in this corridor, but if even one person who can pin you spawns in this corridor, and you run right in here, yeah, you're getting grabbed, and because you're in this dark little crevice that most people don't decide to touch, again, if your team is biled, they're probably not going to realize that you're dead. So, yeah, this beginning is frankly fucking awful. And then you come down here. Now, while this area is much more merciful to the survivors, it's kind of unfun, honestly. This area is mostly just a safe spot in a way, because there's no real good place to spawn or attack from for the zombies. So usually zombies only bother trying to kill you while you're here if you're already really low and they just want to punch you a few times to get you downed or something like that. But in my experience, usually they just wait to set up one of the escalators, whichever one you choose to go up. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so that beginning's fucking awful, but at least things get better from here, right? Well, I don't know if it's guaranteed, but I swear every single goddamn time I play this campaign, there is always a tank on this map, and it is always well, okay, it's a 50-50 in my experience. I only ever see it in 2 spaces. I don't know if it's like literally always it has to be one or the other, but for me, the tank always spawns either just as I'm coming up these escalators, and oh shit, well, now we've got to go back down here and get ready for a tank fight in here, which, of course, a lot of people are going to disagree on. Some people are just going to decide, no, fuck it, I don't want to go back. I'm just going to run at that tank and see what I can do. Dead. Yeah, it's not a fun experience. But say that we don't get a tank there, or we do get a tank, and it's miraculously everyone agrees to fire in there, and you successfully destroy it, and then you come up through here. This section, in fairness, not all that bad. This whole like elongated sort of like going through the subway station bit. But then we get to the second place a tank always seems to spawn. If the tank hasn't spawned yet, you'll walk up to this, and then you'll hear dum dun dun, and you may as well just give up, because you are not progressing past here unless the tank literally is missing brain cells. Because there is no alternative path around this subway train if you weren't aware. You literally have to walk through this. This entire thing, there is no way to reach the end of the map without walking through this. And if the tank spawns here, and if he stands here, so how exactly do you think you're going to get through here? You're about to say, oh, well, you just kill the tank. But you have to walk up to there to even be able to shoot the tank. At which point, if it's the fire tank, they can outrun you, so they just run directly at you and beat the shit out of you and pound you into a wall so you can't escape. If they're not the fire tank, if they're the, I don't know, the ice tank, well, they can stand here, tank your bullets, they have more health than any other tank, and then they have the ability to, if you let him go long enough without getting shot, he can crouch and heal himself to get all that damage you did undone. And yeah, you could come in and interrupt his healing, but to do that, you'd have to know when he's healing, when you can't see him, because, you know, you'd have to come this far forward to even be able to see him in the first place, at which point you already could be fucked. Not to mention the ice tank slows you down while you're close to him, so if you get a little too close, if you're like, oh, I can't quite see if the tank's healing or not, I might want to come out and interrupt it, and then you walk this close, and then he just walks up to the door, oh, I'm already in his freezing aura, oh, dead. And of course the Necrotanker spawns more zombies. In fact, the main thing the Necrotanker does is he becomes extremely strong if you just allow him to sit ahead of you and start spawning zombies and kill his own zombies to increase his maximum health to the point where he's unstoppable. The main downside to the Necrotanker is his setup time, but you have all the setup time in the world here, because if they decide to run forward, you just get a free kill. You just, oh, free kill, lovely. The only tank here that doesn't destroy is the the Vampire tank. But the Vampire tank's useless in indoor areas anyway, so no one will ever pick it here unless they do it by accident. So yeah, any tank, they can just basically perma-stall here. There's basically no strategy to avoid this. It's just, if it happens, well shit, you better hope the tank's really dumb and, I don't know, runs on top of the train and tries to, like, catch you from the back, but then you just run under it and run away because the tank's an idiot for trying to do that. Now, everything I've said aside, I will say this much. At the very least, I think as soon as you get to here, this map actually starts becoming semi-enjoyable. I'm not going to say it's anything special. It's certainly not anything particularly fun compared to the other maps, but I don't have anything against the generator room segment. There is nothing about this segment that I think makes it cancer an XP mod. It is just a decent section. But I definitely can't say that the rest of the map can make up for that. I know I said this is the worst one, and, you know, I didn't say anything positive about the first map, but I'm saying something positive about this one, so maybe you could say, oh, maybe I'm being a bit too harsh, maybe this wasn't really the worst one, but if you're thinking that, then I just have to say you don't understand how bad the beginning is. You need more experience. You need to play this map more, or maybe not play this map more, to understand how awful the beginning is. And once you understand how awful the beginning is deeply, then you will know that, yeah, this good that you'll never see anyway, because you'll never make it this far anyway, does not outweigh the bad by any means. But yeah, honestly, this whole ending section, don't have any problem with any of this for the most part. I always go this way. I suppose this area is... Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I suppose this area is, like, a little bit wide open, which is annoying because commons, and oh my god, are you kidding, another fucking car alarm after all this? But, you know, it's not so bad compared to the rest of the map, which is absolutely that bad. Alright, welcome to hell. I said that the second chapter isn't the worst one, but I said it's tight competition with the third one. The third chapter is very similar to the second chapter in that the beginning is complete fucking garbage, bullshit, death trap central. In fact, this whole map is just nothing but absolute death traps, and there's basically no single point where you're given any room to breathe. And I'm not a fan of it. But the reason why I think it's at least slightly better than the second chapter is, at the very least, the chaos of this chapter can sometimes be mildly fun, although I feel like it ultimately gets old fast because it takes away a lot of the nuance of the game when the best strategy essentially just becomes run. Don't even think about working as a team, there's no point, you'll die. So, yeah. Now, if you're familiar with this chapter in normal Left 4 Dead, then I'm sure that what 99% of you are going to do is walk out here, have a look in here. Ooh, look, a weapon, that's cool. Ooh, it's a pipe bomb. Molotov, let's get some stuff. Yeah, this is some good stuff. Oh yes, of course, there's a room over here with the weapons. Hey, this whole campaign I've been stuck with this stupid pump shotgun. Now I get to have like the semi-auto Benelli shotgun. I get to have the Scar, let's go. Like tier 3 weapons, let's go. This is perfect, right? You gotta remember that this is XP mod, and in XP mod you can have whatever weapons you want right from the very beginning. However, because this is a good idea to go over here in vanilla Left 4 Dead, there are a lot of people who just have the muscle memory built in that, oh, I opened this door, I should go run this way and go get those good guns. Until they reach there and realise, oh, actually, I didn't need those guns, did I? And then they come back around here, and around here, and
Should
then
be
they
a way
leave.
up ahead.
So, let me explain why this is a problem. This little alleyway right here, this is about as bad as the beginning of Chapter 2. The boomers can spawn up there, drop down on top of you, blast everyone off their feet, launch someone over this way while launching everyone else over this way. This person's over here, is blinded, has had 25, like, his health chunked off, and can't see shit. His HUD is gone, there's a horde coming from him, he's surrounded on all sides by zombies so he can't move. And then, I don't know, maybe a smoker spawns in here, pulls him over here, starts electrocuting him. Smokers can move slightly while they've grabbed someone, so then he could slowly inch this guy behind this door so his teammates can't see him. His teammates also don't even know where he's been pulled because they've been knocked over here. They might not even know that he's been pulled, so they're just busy dealing with this horde while this person's already probably dead. Not to mention, if people try crouching in this corner and fending them off from here, what's to say that a jockey or a smoker doesn't come in here and pull someone all the way over here? And of course, on top of all that, you're not going to be surprised at all to hear, yeah, Spitter's also a nightmare here. And once again, if you ever want to just make a run for it, be ready for a witch to be standing right here to stop you from getting out that door. So, yeah, this place is horrible. The best thing you can do is just wait, be ready, wait, make sure your whole team is ready, go, run. Just don't stop. Get in there, close the door. And then if anyone didn't make it, you look out and you carefully kind of peek out and provide cover and fire for them over time. If they're too far away, genuinely fucking ditch them. That's often the best option. And I don't like saying this. This is why I say I feel like No Mercy is the worst XPM map, because I've kind of made it clear the issue now. It's a consistent theme that, while yes, you don't necessarily need to stick together as much in XPM, still sticking together is extremely important in XPM. It's still something we should very much do. You should just do it in a way where you're a bit more separated from each other. At least you have sight lines of each other, but you're not literally breathing on each other. And maybe you should split up occasionally, but only briefly, and then regroup. But in this situation, it really is just run and hope you make it a lot of the time. Especially because you come out here, where usually there are already a hell of a lot of commons here even before the horde starts, and this is a big wide open area, so you're going to be completely stuck out here. And there's so many great places for smokers and stuff like that to spawn here. You've of course got the gas station, which every now and then someone will kill themselves on this, but that's not really a significant problem. Actually, let me set that off right now. Just while I'm here, I thought I may as well point this out, just in case any of you didn't already know this. I'm losing my mind. I'm not kidding. Just today, I discovered this. I did not know you could go up here. I never knew this. And you know what the stupidest part is? Literally before this, I discovered this, I had already thought, oh, this looks very suspiciously piled up. And I remember trying to climb up this, but I think I must have done it from this angle, because I thought, oh, never mind, I guess I can't climb up it. Yeah, oh, okay, yeah, the collision's a bit wonky. So I thought that was like, oh, never mind, I guess I can't come up here, but no, I can. Anyway, yeah, that's a vanilla thing. I just thought I'd show that off, because, I mean, maybe there's a decent amount of you watching who never even knew that yourselves. Anyway, so, fun fact, one thing that does kind of suck about XPM is despite the fact we have people with jetpacks and grappling hooks, the maps are still vanilla Left 4 Dead. And unfortunately, these vanilla Left 4 Dead maps are made with vanilla in mind, not XPM. Which means that there are invisible walls in the maps. And you will have no indication of where they are, when they are, like, and sometimes, because, of course, the abilities can be a little bit janky in XP mod every now and then, you'll be hitting an invisible wall and not knowing it because you think it's just the ability being janky or you not knowing how to use it. So it's very common that someone who's newer to the mod, or even someone who's used it for a bit but just doesn't necessarily play that much coach or a shell, might come up here and try to instantly grapple into this window and waste loads of time trying to get in. And they'll keep hitting the window, but it keeps just not letting them in. And it's just like, well, I swear, I'm right in the center. Why did it let me in? And of course, as you can guess, there's an invisible wall there, as there is over this one as well. So, unfortunately, you do have to start the lift to remove that invisible wall. And, not to mention, you probably don't need me to tell you, but yeah, this roof area, this is a little bit of a nightmare. So, why is this roof area so bad? Well, not only, of course, could a boomer spawn here, drop here, off the roof dead, instantly. Not only could a charger, of course, spawn here and uppercut you off the roof, which also probably will insta-kill you. Or even if they just charge you off the roof, that won't insta-kill you, but it'll separate you far from your team and put you in the middle of a horde, and your team might be completely unable to help you, genuinely. In fact, genuinely, I think the worst threat is smokers. Not from here, but from the ground, because the horde is just so deadly and pulls you so far back and separates you so much from your team. And bear in mind that smokers in this mod pull fast and can pull from further away. There could be a smoker at that door right there, and they could probably grab me from here and pull me all the way to that door, which is miles away, and there's going to be this massive horde all filling out all of this street in between me and the rest of my team now, that are all going to be beating down on me. And is someone going to bother to, like, say, well, I'm right here, but I guess now I'll drop down off here to come try and save you? And even from here, like, maybe the smoker at this point is pulling me into the diner, so they're not going to have a clear shot of this. It is really a bad situation to be in, and again, there just isn't much counterplayer survivors. It's just, oh, eat shit, I guess. You know. Again, I'm not necessarily making this video because I'm making some kind of argument that they should change No Mercy for this mod, because again, it's a mod. It's not going to happen. But I'm making it just to explain why I hate this map so much, because I feel like, I don't know if people, I'm a bit confused if people do it as a meme, or if people really mean it when they say they like this map in the XPM community, because I despise it. Anyway, so then you drop down here, of course, you know, the layout properly. No one ever goes in here. You get some stuff. I don't think anyone goes in here either. And, of course, if you didn't already know, once you get down here, you can make this easier for your teammates by pressing this button to open this door. You don't have to do it, but I highly recommend doing it. It occasionally can be a bad idea if there's lots of zombies coming from standing over here, and like you open this door, obviously it lets them in, but 90% of the time it's the best idea. Now you might be thinking, okay, so this bit doesn't look so bad, and don't get me wrong, it's not as bad as the rest of this map, but bearing in mind that all the infected know that you're trying to get to this button, and there's no other way you can progress the map other than to come down this corridor, the second they see someone actually make it into the window above, they are probably going to start spawning down here. There's going to be a spitter over here spawning a witch over here. There's going to be a charger waiting for you to turn the corner and just get you right into the witch. There's going to be stuff set up right here ready for you. In fact, I just realized something awful. I haven't even seen this before because this is relatively new to me, but the Hunter does have a new bind 1, where if he can't be seen by the survivors, then he can create a cloud of immobility where survivors move at 15% of their normal speed. 15% is ridiculously slow. It's more than 5 times slower. It'd be like 6 2/3 times, 6.67 times slower. That's absolutely pathetic speed. That would be like inching forward like that. And so if they put a cloud of like immobility right here, then if you're dealing with this endless horde, you're going to be slowly, barely inching forward through this, and there could be someone down, dying, being beaten to death by zombies on the other side of the door, waiting for you to open it, and you're just like, come on, let me, and then by the time you get there, charger spawns, charges you, bowls over any teammates behind you, starts smashing them, all your teammates are here, earthquake, all teammates stunned, yeah, not happening. Obviously, don't even bother with any of these doors. You're just asking to die if you're deciding to stop and start checking these rooms in XP mod. And you come to here.
This way.
Now, this room would probably be one of the most forgiving areas of this map if it weren't for the fact that at this point, there is no fucking way that the entire team isn't limping. Which means that if you're slowly limping through this room, you can imagine, especially if someone starts running ahead because the rest of the team looks like a lost cause, and I don't even blame them at that point, the chances that there's going to be a smoker up the top or down one of these alleys, or, you know, even just a charger who's not even good, like in the best smartest position, but they just spawn and run up to you and punch you a couple times to down you. It's so easy for that to happen here, especially because we have these different aisles. So if I'm in this aisle, then someone could easily spawn in this aisle and just run up and scratch me. But if you do make it into here, usually at this point the survivors start to recover a bit. Usually they start to hide in here while at least one or two of them stays in this middle area, and they start healing up if they have medkits. But this area in itself could be a bit of a death trap. Once again, there's so many choke points that are great spots for witches, and the Spitto dominates here, and the Boomer gets biles constantly. Again, it'd be a miracle if you made it this far without an entire team of limping people or dead people.
Looks like people
But then you will
went
make it to the
this way.
sewer at the very least. Now, not only is there the classic problem of trying to get
Maybe there's
into
no stinking
one of the two
zombies in the
manholes.
sewers.
Oh my god, Bill, shut up. Now, not only do you have the usual problem of trying to get into one of these two manholes with the entire team at once without someone getting grabbed the second that everyone else drops down so no one can save them. But on top of that, because you've got two paths, people tend to disagree in XP mod which is the better path. And I feel like this is probably the same case in vanilla, but I don't see it as much in vanilla. And it might be just because at this point people tend to panic. And so you'll drop down whichever one, you know, you select, and maybe someone will get grabbed, maybe they won't. Now here comes the sewers. Now this part honestly isn't that bad, like, compared to the rest of this map. This is not too unforgiving, it's mostly just, again, remember, you're almost guaranteed limping at this point. And with how wide open the sewers are compared to the rest of the map, how wide open it is so easy for an infected that can outrun you to just spawn and start, like, you know, left, right, run at you, scratch, dead. So you're going to be limping all the way here, and you can't really duke them because it's a pretty flat landscape for the most part, and any non-flat stuff is mostly just mild slopes. You can't really jump up onto, like, an object to try and, like, keep a safe distance from the infected. Yeah, I was just going to test. You don't seem to be able to jump onto that pipe. So, yeah, you're just going to have to make a mad dash for this room and hope no one gets there in time. This room is one of the very few bits of break you're going to get. You can probably stop and heal in here if you have another medkit, but you probably
That's a
don't.
crock of shit.
You're going to have to come through here. And then, I forgot how long this is. No one ever goes this way for obvious reasons. How long does this go on? Is it... Oh wow, that's surprisingly... I was just curious, I never go this way, because of course, why would you go this way? This is, like, away from the way they want to go. Interesting. Okay. Well, anyway, sorry getting a bit sidetracked there, but, yeah, so you come out
Need
here,
to find a manhole. The hospital's above us.
and you'd think salvation, right? I mean, the safe room's right up there. What if I told you that as long as the infected know what they're doing and want to be sweaty tryhards, that you literally, physically cannot climb this ladder? I don't mean that as a joke, I mean that 100% seriously. What do I mean? I believe this is actually still the case in Left 4 Dead Vanilla, but I don't ever see people doing this in Vanilla. Maybe, again, I'm just lucky. I see it a lot more in XP mod. Though then again, I suppose most of my playtime in Vanilla was on console, not on PC, so maybe I just haven't played enough, like, Vanilla Left 4 Dead on PC. Either way, what happens is you'll get this high up, and then a charger will look above you, or something like that. And you can't move up until the charger goes away, and in fact the charger can just start punching your head while you're here. And you need to get all the way up that ladder to be able to stop him. I can't shoot right now, because I'm on a ladder. I could try jumping off the ladder. I took 24 fall damage for that, and I couldn't even fire my shotgun. I was spamming the click button the whole time. I was spamming left mouse to fire. You cannot fire, because it has this animation of pulling it out. And every single time you jump off, you're taking fall damage, significant fall damage. You lose like a quarter of your health bar for doing this stupid shit. So, yeah, you can't really do anything about this charger. So what you need is for someone else to shoot it while you're on the ladder behind you, which means already if you made it this far alone, you're screwed. But even if there's someone else behind you, you might notice this is a very tight gap to the point where, as far as I'm aware, I believe the character model covers this whole hole. The whole hitbox of this hole is covered by my character model. Which means that if someone is up here, and a teammate from down here tries to shoot at the special infected up there, they will only friendly fire you, and they won't shoot the special infected at all. And because this like chunky area of concrete is so thick, you can't shoot bullets through it to hit someone above you that you can't see but know is there. And on top of that, because it is also because it's so thick, obviously you have enough time as a charger to react when they get high enough to just run up, block. Okay, they're gonna shoot, run back. Okay, run up, block. Okay, run back. Okay, run up, block. Okay, run back. There's literally nothing you can do. You just have to accept, oh fuck, guess I'm screwed. Which is just absolute bullshit. There's so many moments in No Mercy where if you are a survivor, there are just points where you just have to think, well, I sure hope the infected don't be like dicks and don't just do the thing that will guaranteed kill me no matter what that I can't do anything about. Oh look, they did the thing that guaranteed kills me no matter what I do. Well, shit. So here we go, chapter 4. This chapter is absolutely fucking decent. I actually don't mind this chapter so much. This is the literal only chapter of No Mercy I find at all in any way bearable. Not only does it have a unique aesthetic and it looks kind of nice and has a unique sort of layout, but on top of that, the crampedness here is a bit more justified. It makes more sense. There's a lot more area rooms you can attack from, so it's not necessarily that the crampedness reduces the options, and it is cramped, but it's at least got enough space that you can move around and dodge spit to some degree. It definitely would have benefited from a bit more open area, but overall it's pretty good. Like, yeah, it can be horrible when you walk in here and spit comes down and you're stuck here. But, in fairness, if you're able to shove the commons away, you can often run into this corner, and while it's not the most ideal spot, you're at least out of the spit. Anyway, you come up here. Oh yeah, also this is a very common place to put witches and all that. And it's very common that, okay, this is one of the downsides of the map. It's very common that people at the start will try and essentially softlock the survivors right at the start. They'll just, well, not really softlock them, but just metaphorically softlock them here. They'll just put them in a situation where no matter what they do, they can't get out of here by just putting them in like a infinite loop of everyone's knocked down. Someone has to go back to get the downed person at the start. Okay, we're going to go through here. Oh no, they're going to do the thing again that downed someone in the first place. Now someone got downed again. Let me go back and revive them. Okay, let me come back through here. You know, just an infinite loop of charger, bowl everyone over, earthquake, spit. Oh damn, someone went down, let's go revive them. Okay, they're up, let's go back again. Charger comes back here, boom, 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 boom. You get the idea. They never get any kind of break from it. But yeah, this is also a common spot for a witch. But you at least get, it's not so bad because straight away, as early as this point in the chapter, you get a breath of fresh air. This area is typically pretty safe, but I like it as well because it's not even like the zombies can't attack you here. It's more just, it's rare that they get a good attack from here. But every now and then, if the team isn't paying attention and say there's someone at the back who may be limping a bit and there's other people waiting for them over there, every now and then someone like a smoke might spawn in there and just yoink you all the way into this room and start electrocuting you in this corner or something, or maybe even sneak you off over here if they're a jockey. And so, obviously, in that situation, the people waiting up there are going to be like, oh, fuck, what, like, that sucked. And this is another great example of why this map, don't get me wrong, I still don't think it's great or anything, but it's certainly a massive improvement over the rest, is while this is also another area where you're begging to have the whole team bowled over by one charger, at the very least this gives you plenty of side rooms to hide in, so that if you know a charger's coming, you can just step a little bit to the left and kind of predict it. Even though these side rooms in themselves can be death traps, if there's spit waiting for you on them, there's so many of them that it's really hard for the infected to spawn ready in them and catch you in them. This staircase can be a bit of a nightmare, but sometimes it isn't. Of course, as always, you've got to be wary when going the way where you break down the door. Sorry, the zombies break down the wall and you come through this way. You've always got to be wary about this elevator shaft. If you get knocked back down there, your teammates will not be coming back from you because they have to go back all the way back to the start, and they just go back in that infinite loop of charged, revive, charged, revive. And yeah. Now, of course, one of the only real problems with this map, I feel, like significant problems, is one that's kind of unfortunate. You see, when you call this elevator and the horde comes, you are probably already aware, most of you, that the best strategy is to run over to this room and close the door, open this door so you can see inside it, and hold out in here. where there's literally nowhere zombies can spawn except occasionally behind these curtains, but you can probably react in time for most of them. And the zombies will all be funneled through this doorway, and it'll be really easy to deal with it. Now, that isn't the problem. The problem is that, well, when the elevator gets here, which actually takes longer than I thought, you will get about a third of the points available in the entire the entire chapter, just for entering this elevator and pressing the button. So if you did this horde and you died, like literally, you were limping to the elevator on black and white, and you get there, and then just right as you're here, you get punched by a charger, you die right at this spot. You instantly got like a few hundred points less than you would have for simply limping another 2 steps forward and hitting this button. Since unfortunately this entire elevator ride counts as a section where you can earn points. Now it is true that just like in Vanilla Left 4 Dead, this section is a hotspot for getting insta-killed. It is very easy to be insta-killed on this map. But I actually don't have a problem with it here. You see, insta-kills, they're very dependent. That was kind of funny. They're very it depends on the context whether insta-kills are good or not for a map. And I feel like typically what is bad is when you have an easy insta-kill right at the start of the map. Like, one that's not that hard to perform, and it's right at the start, and it just instantly, well, there's someone who isn't going to be my teammate for the entire game just because they walked in this one direction and then boom, dead. I don't mind it here so much, because already by this point, you're probably limping, you're on your last legs, and insta-kill isn't as valuable anyway. And if someone does die, you're close to the end anyway, you got most of the points for getting in the elevator, it's not the end of the world. So I actually don't think it's too much of a problem. I don't have an issue with it. And I do think it's fair that the insta-kill shouldn't give you that much, considering the insta-kill is so easy here, especially with a charger, just like spawn in here, earthquake, boom, out. You know, what do you even do about that as a survivor? There is counterplay, I'm not saying there isn't any, but like, there isn't much. Like, the kind of counterplay you'd have to do would be ridiculous. Like, you would have to, I don't know, pick Rochelle, and when you get here, jump out the fucking window, like, grapple hook onto here, swing around here, and go around here to completely skip this area and run away from the charger, and then just use your bind 2 to turn invisible and move super fast, and just start running through here before someone can catch you over here, and run for the safe room, before someone can spawn a witch in front of it so you can't get to it. Because yeah, this is also another relatively hot spot for witches. Again, it's pretty narrow. But, again, don't have too much of a problem with that, considering, yeah, that's right at the end of the level. It's fair enough to have the end of the level be that deadly. Alright, this is it. You're about to witness... I just realized, I said the second chapter was the worst. No, I take that all back. No, this is the worst chapter. This is the worst chapter. How could I forget this one? So, you might have thought the finale might be a bit better, at least. I mean, the main problem with the first 3 chapters is that they encourage rushing and discourage teamwork. This is a finale, you can't rush it, so surely that won't be the case here. Which, in fairness, yes, it's not necessarily that you're encouraged to rush that's the problem with this map. The problem with this map is that it's bullshit. Okay? So considering this is a finale, this is worth more points than any other chapter in the entire campaign, naturally. And yet, 90% of the places you're going to die in this campaign are the first fucking 5 seconds. Don't get me wrong, you'll guaranteed make it this far. Like, the second you get here, that's practically a guarantee. Like, you'd have to be really fucking bad to not make it this far. The second you step here, okay, now you're in the death zone. Because yes, there is a pretty obvious open elevator shaft to get insta-killed in down here. And yes, it isn't that hard for someone to spawn in this room as a charger, run up, earthquake, everyone's stunned, jump, dead. But, okay, whatever. We can progress. We know that insta-kill's coming. As long as we aren't dumb, as long as we're quick, as long as we do what we can to trick the charger or keep an eye out for it, that should be easy, right? Oh dear. The ladders are back, and they're worse. By the way, you can be insta-killed even when you're here. It's not very common, but occasionally, because of course they need to get the right angle, but occasionally you'll be standing here, and a boomer will just drop down through here, explode when it lands, launch you off your feet, and into the hole you go. It's not very common, but it can happen, and it means that although you spend a lot of your time camping down here once you get up here and just be like, okay, right, hold them off, every now and then something will get you over the railings and you will get insta-killed out of nowhere by the stupidest shit. So there's really, this entire elevator shaft, even these platforms with the railings, are places you can get insta-killed, and it's fucking stupid. But as if that wasn't bad enough... Yeah, this shit again. You can't see. You come this high, charger comes up here, blocks, can't get up. Now bear in mind that while you're doing this, a spitter can also spit on your head and drop spit all the way down here, so when you jump down you land in spit, and all your teammates who are standing down here hoping to shoot whatever comes to peek, oh, they're now in acid spit and they can't move because zombies spawn inside them, and this space is so cramped that the zombies are going to cover all their exit ways, and then they come down here and oh no, there's a zombie climbing up the ladder, so they can't even go down the ladder, so they're stuck in the spits, and now they have to run this way, and now everyone's cramped in here, and if there's any, like, I don't know, if there's a boomer down on the bottom level, they can all bile everyone. Now they're all in this corner if they get the right angle. It is awful. Now this is at least a marginal, teensy amount better than the Mercy, not the Mercy, we already know about this, is No Mercy, the sewers ladder, because at the very least this is a ceiling you can shoot through, which means if you know for a fact that the charger is right there, you can shoot it through the roof. However, you'll get little to no feedback on if your shots actually hit, and you'll have to do a shit ton of damage to it through the roof to actually kill it. It's not often going to work, so this is effectively almost exactly as bad as the sewers. It's slightly better, but this is typically still a section where the second you hit the top of this, dead. And there's just nothing you can do about it. Not to mention, even if you do somehow manage to come up here without them stalling you forever, and without them just fucking with you the entire time, you come up here, let's just say there isn't a charger right here. Like, yeah, you'll see it, but what do you do about it? You're on the ladder, you can't use your gun, and the second you stand up, dead. But even if you had some kind of counterplay, like, one thing I like to do is Lewis's short-range teleport actually works on ladders. So I might come this high up, and then short-range teleport all the way up to here. Even in that case, charger, boom, earthquake to get me off my feet, and then lines up the charge while I'm stunned, and then sends me off. But the charger isn't even the only thing you have to worry about here. What if a boomer spawns down here? If you come up here, a boomer spawns down here, they jump over your head, land here, launch you off here, there's a good chance you're insta-dead off that. Because if it knocks you this way over the railings, that's insta-death. If it knocks you right over the railings, if you land low enough, that's insta-death. Or at least an insta-down and biled and in an awful spot, which means you're probably dead, considering you're probably separated from your team as well. Off this way, insta-death. Off this way is usually an insta-down or an insta-death, unless you land on somewhere nice like one of these boxes, which you'd have to be pretty lucky for that. So yeah, that's pretty bad here. That's not a good thing. Not to mention there's the classic charge someone off here, which, remembering that the charger in this mod has the supercharge, which allows them to charge at ridiculously fast speeds and extremely long distances, that means that you could be all the way over there and a charger could spawn here, supercharge, and like within a second he could get from there to all the way over here and just launch you off the fucking helicopter pad and kill you right there. And this is all just to get to the fucking radio. And by the way, when you reach this radio, you cannot answer the radio until all your teammates are up that ladder. And believe me, you do not often get all your teammates up that ladder in one quick, like, succession. It's almost always someone goes up the ladder, insta-dies, someone else follows up quickly afterwards and maybe makes it. Someone else tries to go up the ladder but they have lots of trouble, and then the guy's waiting here for ages alone, and if one person grabs them, they're fucked. And they're just like, come on, get up the ladder, but then they're taking their time because they don't want to get charged off. And then maybe they get through, maybe they don't, so okay, maybe they get through, like, you got 2 people here now, but then the last third guy down there just gets hunted down there. Okay, never mind, it's 2 people, we're doing this finale with 2 people, if we're lucky. And then we answer the radio.
Hello?
Not to mention that this is one of those finales where you have to answer the radio twice, and people love to forget that fact. Which means that sometimes people spend ages holding out here without even fucking starting the finale.
Go on and head out. We're ready.
Now, in fairness, I will say this much. Once this finale has started, it's not that bad. It could have been worse.
I called the chopper.
Once you started the finale, the insta-kill bullshit gets tuned down a little bit, although of course at any moment you could still be charged off if you're not careful. But certainly, it's not great either. I mean, first of all, you rarely even get this far, at least with more than one person. But on top of that, you have another issue. You see, as far as I'm aware, it seems like the common strategy on this finale is to stand up here as a team, without going onto the pipes where you can get insta-killed by charges. Obviously, this is the most infamous pipe. Charger spawns, I don't know, comes up this ladder, charges someone off here. So, like, maybe someone up here where they can't be insta-killed, someone over here, maybe someone over... Oh, the tank actually showing up? Or is that just the music? Oh, a tank actually shows up. Oh, shit. Turn off the director, I thought that would actually disable this. Do not question my strategy. I was not prepared for this, okay. Big brain. Okay, so as I was saying, yeah, that's probably a good segue into how tanks are on this map. They could be worse, but they are not great to deal with. Especially the vampire tank who can fly. It's very easy for him to punch you off the building. Oh yeah, no, more importantly, I was saying you would usually camp on here as a group in Vanilla Left 4 Dead. Guess what? This is an insta-kill spot. I'm not kidding. Not off there. Like, standing here potentially is an insta-kill spot. Standing here is an insta-kill spot. I'm not joking. I mean that. Do you want to know why? Boomer lands there. Oof, off the building you go, dead. No joke. It is, in fairness, a relatively difficult insta-kill to pull off. So that one you might not see people pull out as often, but even if it is difficult, that doesn't mean it's impossible, and even if they don't get the insta-kill, they again probably are going to get an insta-down and have you in an awful spot. I don't want to talk about it.
Grenade! Hey!
I say I'm just too good. So yeah, this isn't a great finale. It's in fact fucking awful if you count the beginning. The actual tank fighting and the actual dealing with it's a bit too insta-kill heavy, but it's not that bad. But I think I've made my point pretty strongly that the main problem is this goddamn ladder. And there's a reason I have a massive problem with it. It's because I understand that this isn't a super competitive game, and I'm not exactly asking for it to be super competitive, but at the end of the day, I would kind of like it if it felt like people won when they deserve to win, and people lose when they deserve to lose. And I feel like when you play No Mercy, you don't have to care about the first 3 chapters. You're just going to get fucked over and over in the first 3 chapters. Probably both of you are going to get fucked, because it's unfair for the survivors for both teams, but whenever they are the survivors, of course. And so it feels like the 4th and 5th chapters are the only one that matter. And when the 4th chapter has the problem of the elevator, which makes it sort of unfair, and the 5th chapter, you can just have one person get insta-killed right at the start, and now it's impossible to win. Yeah, it kind of sucks. It kind of feels like, damn, why does everyone want to play this map? I know there's a lot of people on XP Mod who actually are a fan of No Mercy and think it's a good map, but oh my god, I can't stand another game of No Mercy. I just want it to be gone every time I see it, and I hope you can at least understand why now. I'm genuinely kind of curious what people who actually like No Mercy on XP Mod have to say about this, because I feel like I've played so many games of fucking No Mercy and I see this every single time, and I think to myself, surely no one fucking enjoys this. But, I mean, someone must. Oh, and I just realized I didn't even mention why No Mercy is so common on XP Mod. Just to quickly bring you up to speed if you don't regularly play XP Mod. Essentially, because it's a modded server, XP Mod has this thing where the second a campaign ends, it starts a new one. And you can vote on what you want that campaign to be, using, well, map vote, a command. So it will just put on whatever campaign is the next campaign that people voted for. But you might be asking, if it puts this new campaign on the second the last one ends, then what does it do if no one votes? Well, it loads up No Mercy. So you're probably seeing where this is going. That means that every single time that people stop playing XP Mod for the day and they've got no more players, the servers play themselves with bots. But the bots can't vote because they're bots, which means that every single time they complete a campaign, it defaults back to No Mercy. So every day, if you're the first player on that day to play on that XP Mod server, guess what? You're playing No Mercy. But more importantly, I genuinely think this is a bigger issue. What if you are now in a real game and you've got other players and you're moving on to the next campaign, you've just played No Mercy, you don't want to play No Mercy again, and you vote for whatever campaign you want. And then someone at the last second, just before No Mercy ends, votes for No Mercy again. Well, even though it's 1 vote to 1, tiebreakers are resolved by whichever one comes first in the order of the menu. Do you want to guess what map is fucking listed first on the menu? Yeah, it's No Mercy. So a combination of the fact that the servers default to No Mercy whenever no one's playing, combined with the fact that No Mercy is the tiebreaker if votes tie, and votes tie a lot because most people don't bother voting for a map, so usually you only get like 2-3 votes on whatever the next campaign should be, and usually they're not the same campaign, so all you need is 2 people to have a different idea of what campaign they want to play, and whoever picked No Mercy wins. I have about 400 hours on Left 4 Dead 2 currently on PC, and I played it much more on console back in the day. And when I played it on console, that was most of my playtime on vanilla, and most of my playtime on PC has been on XPM, not vanilla. So let's just call it 300 hours of XPM gameplay. I want to hammer in how ubiquitous No Mercy is, and just how much you can't fucking escape it. I genuinely think if you added up my playtime on XP mod, about a third of it would be on fucking No Mercy, compared to all other campaigns. And even though in fairness I have played most campaigns on XP mod, to this day I have never played the passing on XP mod. It's not even like it's a campaign I particularly like, I want to give it a go because I've never played it before. And to this day, I've still never played the passing on XP mod. Every time I vote for it, some fucker votes for No Mercy. It hurts my soul. Don't get me wrong, there are definitely other maps which people say are stupidly overdone and overrated in XP mod. There are more maps that are done all the time. In fairness, while I think No Mercy is by far the worst offender, Dead Air, Death Toll, and Dark Carnival are also played the shit out of on XP mod. Honestly, I would not be surprised if it turned out that 90% of the time the XP mod servers are up, they're on either No Mercy, Dark Carnival, Dead Air, or Death Toll. But I didn't talk about those ones as much because, first of all, I actually think Dead Air, while it is definitely overplayed, is overplayed for a reason. I think Dead Air is genuinely the single best campaign in XP mod. Now, I understand some people are going to roll their eyes at that, but I do think that people who are rolling their eyes at that probably are only sick of it because they played too much of it. And fair enough, it does get picked way too much. But in terms of how good it actually is, I just feel like every chapter is extremely fun and as close as you can get to balance for maps that weren't made for XP mod. It really doesn't feel like any chapter is a given or that any chapter is impossible. And there's little optimizations and skips that you could do on XP mod that you can't do on vanilla Left 4 Dead on almost every single chapter of Dead Air. Death Toll I don't have quite as positive an opinion of, because I think it's a little bit more polarizing and a little bit more sometimes you just get bullshitted. But I'm not going to disagree that it is definitely one of the more fun maps in the game. And Dark Carnival, listen, Dark Carnival's just a good map. I don't think Dark Carnival's improved that much by XP mod, but I don't think it's ruined by it either. It kind of feels the same as it does in vanilla Left 4 Dead. So that's why even though there are arguably 4 maps in XP mod that are stupidly overplayed, I really want to zero in on No Mercy, because it's the only one that's overplayed that I think is not only not good, but bad. And not only bad, but actually fucking awful. Anyway, thank you for watching. And hey, you can tell me what your favorite map in vanilla/XPM is. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.